I want to bring in Matt Pinfield tonight. He's an entertainment television host and disc jockey who worked as an MTV VJ. He was also friends with Ozzy Osbourne for decades. Matt, I am so sorry for your loss. I really do thank you for coming on the show tonight. I know Ozzy played a significant role in your life. Can you share more with our viewers about your personal bond with him?
You know, Ozzy and I, we became friends. Obviously, discovered him like so many other people did as a young child. My interest in love and rock and roll. And, you know, I didn't know years later he and I would become very, very, very great friends in the 1990s. And we did a lot of things together. In fact, into the 2000s, when I was a vice president of what they call A&R at Columbia Records, I put together a Ozfest live album with for Ozzy and Sharon, and worked with them on that. But we had this long-term friendship for years, and obviously his influence can't be overstated because there are so many people that still pick up instruments, learn those classic Black Sabbath or solo Ozzy songs. But we had this incredible relationship and friendship because of our mutual love of music. And so much so that I had a stroke in January. I was in a coma for almost 2 months in Los Angeles and then in a rehabilitation hospital. But when I got out, Ozzy sent me this cane. He sent me one of his own gold-plated canes that he actually used himself. And it just arrived one day. I was staying with family, recovering from my stroke. And it was the most beautiful gesture that Ozzy decided to send that to me, and because he was so upset that I had the stroke. And we had so many great moments together, whether it was interviews that we did or at his live shows. And he's just such a music enthusiast and not only influenced so many people, but I loved him as a man. He was incredible. And him and Sharon, I did a lot of things with them over the years. So it's an incredible loss.
Tell me about that moment.
Sorry.
Tell me about that moment, because I can't imagine getting out of a coma, trying to fight back, being at your lowest, right? Both physically and mentally, maybe.
Yes.
And then opening that up and seeing Ozzy's name on that cane. That had to feel amazing.
That was one of the greatest gifts ever. I mean, it just blew my mind because it was such a beautiful gesture. And it really is typical of Ozzy's heart, you know? He had just an incredible heart. He loved his friends. He loved his family. And he loved rock and roll. He loved music. I mean, and he was such a passionate guy. And there's so many layers to him, you know. And I just will tell you that meant everything in the world when that came, because it was a complete surprise. It came in this giant box, Tom, and I opened it. I was, what is it? What is it? And I pulled it out, and I couldn't believe it was Ozzy's personal cane, which, you know, he was, again, I got the word that he was very upset when he heard about the stroke. You know, and he just wanted to see me get back on my feet, you know?
Matt, a lot of people say this, and it's true. It's hard to get famous, but it's even harder to stay famous. And yet Ozzy did. How was he so talented? Because he had both success with Black Sabbath and then decades of success as a solo artist, and then obviously venturing into reality TV as well.
Yes, I mean, I think the thing is because he had an open mind and he never took himself too seriously. You know, he loved rock and roll so much. So when he, when he met Paul McCartney, or, you know, it was funny. He would be backstage, and you know, he'd be listening to the Beatles, or he'd be listening to Peter Gabriel. Like, he just loved music of all kinds, of all different genres. You know, and you know. At first, of course, they're considered the godfathers of heavy metal. But, you know, he always said, you know, I'm in a rock band. I'm a rock musician. I love rock and roll. And that was the thing about Ozzy that was amazing. And I think the staying power has so much to do with him having an open mind and having someone who's incredible as a life partner like Sharon has been all these years. She's an amazing woman. I love them both dearly, and the entire family. So it's... that says a lot about Ozzy, because he's always been and he does, again, he can poke fun at himself. I always love that about him. He understood, you know what I mean, not to take himself too seriously. Yeah. And that was a beautiful thing about Ozzy. And I'll miss him. Yeah,
he had to love America, right? He spent so much time here.
Oh, he did. He loved this country, and he did. Because, you know, I mean, the Sabbath guys loved this country because this is where they were toured and were loved really first. Sure, their records did great in the UK and the rest of the world eventually, but they really cut their teeth, as so many bands did, even Led Zeppelin over the years, all these bands, by touring America. America was the promised land for all these rock and rollers because they loved all the old rock to start with. You know what I mean? And So, yeah, he very much loved his country here.
Matt, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. I thank you for joining
do.
Top Story tonight and sharing so many great memories. We'll be thinking about you and, of course, the Osbourne family as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. It's great to be with you today. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.